Welcome to Scriptural Snapshots, brought to you by Living Faith Ministries in Kaiser, West Virginia, where we bring the living Word of God into your life. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. We're talking about radical faith, and Jesus is talking about this in Luke chapter 6, verses 46 to 49. He says, "But why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do the things which I say? Whoever comes to me and hears my sayings and does them, I will show you whom he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. And when the flood arose," see, there will come floods, there will come temptations. Jesus, one of my favorite verses that is never in a promise box, Jesus said, "In this world you will have tribulation." He didn't say some will have, he said you will have tribulation. That means trouble. You will have trouble, but be of good cheer, for I've overcome the world. And you say, well, how can I be of good cheer? Because there's trouble. Well, it's not because there's trouble, but in the trouble, we know that we will overcome. We know we will outlast the storm. Well, how do you know that? Because you have a good foundation. Because you're not a hearer only, but you're a doer of the Word of God. And Jesus, this is the kind of person Jesus is talking about, who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock, and when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently against that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded on the rock. See, if you don't dig deep, if you don't lay the proper foundation, when the storms come, your house is going to collapse. You dig a foundation to outlast the flooding. You dig a foundation to outlast the frost. Now, in our area, they recommend 30 to 36 inches deep for a foundation. Well, why that? Because that's a frost line. The ground will freeze up to about 30 inches. But after that, the ground doesn't freeze. Well, why is that important? Because as the ground freezes, it causes things to move. And if you don't lay the proper foundation, the freezing and thawing will cause your foundation to shift, and it will eventually crack and get destroyed. And then once the foundation is gone, the house goes down. And the house can stand for years and years and years, but eventually, if the foundation is not put in properly, the house will collapse. This is why so much effort is put into foundations. For tall buildings, they've got deep foundations. For large structures, they've got solid foundations. At the Temple Mount, there's a cornerstone that they found on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem it's larger than any stone in the pyramids. I mean, it's a huge stone. That's one corner. They took all the measurements off that. What are they doing? They're laying the proper foundation. They're laying a foundation that they can measure from, that's not going to move, that's not going to shift and shake, and it's been there for 2,000 years and hasn't moved. The pyramids have been there for thousands of years. They haven't moved. Why? They built the proper foundation. And you can outlast the storm if your foundation is good, but if your foundation is weak, if it cracks, if the frost or the hard times, the tribulations disturb the foundation, it will eventually cause your whole house to collapse. And we'll say, well, why did God allow that to happen? Well, he didn't allow it to happen. You didn't hear and obey. You called Jesus Lord, Lord, but you didn't do what he said to do. And if you'll do what God says to do, you'll get a good foundation, because you're going to remove all the stuff that keeps you from believing and having faith, true faith, radical faith in the things of God. He goes on in verse 49, "But he who heard and did nothing is like a man who built a house on the earth without a foundation." He built a house, but there was no foundation. Oh, let's just put up a slab here. We'll just do this. Well, you'll find your house will move. In California, they have a lot of rock slides and mudslides. Boy, there were houses that were built on the side of the mountain, and they thought they went down far enough, but not far enough that when the earthquake came and when the ground shifted, the whole house moved with it. And the whole house was thrown into the ocean or thrown at the bottom of the mountain, and it was totally destroyed. Why? They didn't build the right foundation. So you've got to know where to build. You've got to know how to build. You've got to tie those things down. But he says, if you heard and did nothing, you're like a man who built a house on the earth without a foundation, against which the stream beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. You could build by the same plan. One had a foundation, one didn't. It was the same storm. One house stood, one house collapsed. So when the hard times come, when tribulation comes, will you stand or will you collapse? Will you fold up like a cheap house of cards? Or are you going to stand and endure the storm? Because I'm telling you, if you believe in Jesus, Jesus talked a lot about persecution. He said it will come. So when persecution comes, are you going to stand or will you collapse? This is your choice. And it all depends upon the foundation that you've laid. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do the things which I've told you to do? I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. God bless you.